In this week's Parsha, Parshas Noach, Perek Zayin, Posuk Zayin, Vayovoi Noach u'bonov ve'ishtoi u'nishei bonov itoi el ha'teva mipnei mei hamabel. Posuk says they started entering into the Teva. There was a mabel, there was a lot of destruction going on in the world, and they entered into the Teva. Rashi says, Noach u'bonov ha'anoshim levad va'anoshim levad. The men were separate and the women were separate. Why? Says Rashi, many other Mefarshim, the Ralbag al Torah also, it's not a time for a person to be busy in personal tanugim, in personal enjoyments, when the world is going through destruction. And therefore the men were separate and the women were separate. They say, B'Shem the Heilige Chofetz Chaim, they once bought him a beautiful chair, nice armrests, nice cushions. Rebbe, you're an old and elderly man, you need to sit in this chair. And he said, I cannot sit in this chair where Klal Yisrael are going through such a tzara. We're going through a time, as we've spoken about previously, where Klal Yisrael, not only in Eretz Yisrael but around the world, are going through tremendous tsar. And we have to feel that tsar. And not only do we have to feel the tsar, but we also have to do something about it. What can we do? What can we do that will actually be relevant? What can we do that will actually affect something? I spoke to a cousin of mine, Erev Shabbos. Not religious, never was religious. I spoke to him Erev Shabbos. He has two children, two 8-year-old children, a boy and a girl, who are currently missing. His father-in-law was shot dead in the kibbutz in Be'eri, and his two children, 8-year-old children, were taken, and he has no idea where they are. Think for a moment, as a father, as a parent, what it means to have two 8-year-old children and you have no idea where they are. And you have no idea how they are. Do you understand how painful that is? This person is not religious. I don't think he's ever opened up a siddur in his life. And he said to me, Rabbi, please, daven for them. Just daven for them. Do whatever you can to daven and to pray for them, for their return. He said, deep down, I know where they are. I know what's happened, but I don't want to believe it. Daven for them. This is someone who's not religious. I don't think he's ever opened up a siddur in his life. But he understands the koyach of tefillah. He understands what tefillah can accomplish, what it can do, and it can do unbelievable things. I want to share with you some words that Rav Pam Zatzal said years ago in America when Klal Yisrael was going through a different sorrow. He said the following. He said, those that seem to harm us can be compared to the frogs in Mitzrayim by the Makov Tzvardeya. Said Rav Pam, we're all familiar with Chazal, that when they saw the frogs, or they saw the big frog, they started hitting the frog to try and destruct it, to try and get rid of it. It didn't work, it only worked in the reverse. And it started spitting out more and more frog. What was 1 became 2, 2 became 4, 4 became 8. It was terrible. Hitting the frogs accomplished nothing for the Egyptians, for Mitzrayim. It simply increased their suffering. Said Rav Pam, that so many times when there are tzoras in Klal Yisrael and there are people that are trying to harm us, our first reaction is let's get them, let's kill them, let's hit them. Says Rav Pam that Lemaisa, killing one terrorist is just going to accomplish, there's going to be another one coming from a different direction, and you kill 2 over there, there'll be 4 from somewhere else. They're going to get us, they're going to want to destroy us. That's the Metzias of Klal Yisrael, that's the Metzias of the world. But what did Paroi learn? Says Rav Pam, listen to what Paroi did, and maybe we can learn from that. Says Rav Pam, you know what Paroi did? He realized that hitting the frog wasn't doing anything, it wasn't accomplishing anything. So you know what he did? He called Moshe Rabbeinu in and he said, pray for me. get rid of the frogs. Even Paroi understood that the only thing that's really going to help is tefillah. The only thing that's going to rid him of that which is destroying his country is tefillah. Says Rav Pam Zatzal, if you want to get rid of the frogs, you daven for it. Our salvation is not with the tanks. Yes, we need to do Ishtadlus, and we're doing Ishtadlus, and we've got incredible people out there doing Ishtadlus. But ultimately, we have to realize where the Yeshua is coming from, where it's going to come from. It's not going to come from the tanks. That's what the Metzias is of the world that makes it look like it's Teva, like it's a normal thing to do, and we need to do Ishtadlus. It's important. But we have to realize, where is it coming from? It's coming from tefillah. If a non-religious man who understands that the only way of him getting his children back is through tefillah, then what do we understand about tefillah? Tell you a moedik avot in Parshas Vayechi, when Yosef revealed himself to his brothers, so he falls on the neck of Binyamin and he starts to cry. Binyamin, as we know, reciprocated and fell also on the neck of Yosef. Chazal tell us that Yosef cried because he saw the vision of the destruction of two Batei Mikdash that would be in the territory of Binyamin. And Binyamin cried about the destruction of the Mishkan at Shiloh that would take place in the territory of Yosef. And the question is, why did they cry over the other one's loss? Why did they cry over their brother's loss and not their own loss? They had what to cry about themselves, but yet they cried about somebody else's loss. And the answer is that when the destruction is within our own boundaries, we have to roll up our sleeves and we have to work. Do your hishtadlus. But when the tzorah is in somebody else's land, it's somewhere else, it's not within your daladamas, then you have to weep, you have to cry, you have to try and do what you can from where you are to be able to save. We're doing our hishtadlus. We've done our hishtadlus, we've made tzitzis, we've made meals. Be'ez Hashem, we're going to continue to do so as well. But we also have to realize, even if we're not mamish there, we're not fighting the war in a physical way, but we're weeping from where we are. We're weeping over the loss, and we're weeping over Be'ez Hashem getting also the Yeshua. In 1967, there was an American bacha learning in the Shir of Nachum in the Meir Yeshiva. And it was pretty apparent at the time, 1967, there was going to be a war in Israel. So the bacha came to Reb Nachum and he said, Rebbe, should I stay in Eretz Yisrael or should I go back to America where it's safe? And he asked the Rebbe, Reb Nachum, what to do. Reb Nachum thought about it a minute and he said, I want you to stay here. Because if you go back to America, you're going to lose the opportunity to steig. This boy's parents didn't agree. They compelled him to come back to America. And he came back to America. Baruch Hashem, June 1967, there was a tremendous Yeshua, the Rabbeinu Shalom, Nisim V'Nifloyes, which we hope Be'ez Hashem to see B'Korov over here in Eretz Yisrael as well. He came back to Eretz Yisrael. The war was over. He came back to the Meir Yeshiva. And he came back to his Rebbe Reb Nachum. And he said, Rebbe, I want to tell you something. I know that you told me what you told me. There's nothing I could do about it. My parents told me, kibbut over aim. I had no choice. But you should know, Rebbe, I continued to steig. I joined the yeshiva. I had Sidorim. I learned pretty much the same Sidorim that I did here in the Meir Yeshiva. So I continued to steig. Reb Nachum replied, you made a tremendous mistake. I didn't mean steiging in Gemara. I didn't mean steiging in your Torah. What I meant was steiging from the air raid sirens. What I meant was steiging from the fear of death. What I meant was steiging in the way that you become closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom when you're a place of Milchama. That you lost out on. And Rabbi say, I say to every single one of you that is sitting here today, you guys are the greatest heroes of Klal Yisrael. You didn't leave Eretz Yisrael. You didn't leave yeshiva. You stayed in yeshiva to steig, to grow, not only in the Torah, not only in the Gemara and the Shulchan Aruch, but also in your personal steiging with your relationship with Hashem. Because when life is difficult, and when things are tough, and life doesn't exactly go the way that we want it to, and the schedule of yeshiva on the way outside, and I can't go here and I can't go there, that causes us to steig. When we realize we don't know when the next missile is going to fall and where it's going to fall, Rahman al-Itzlan. It could be anywhere, chas v'sholem. When we realize that, hopefully our tefillah is a different tefillah. Hopefully our Shmoneh Esrei is a different Shmoneh Esrei. Our Negelvasser, our tzitzis, our tefillah, our birchas hamazon. Hopefully it's a bit different. That's the real steiging. Every single one of you that stayed here in the yeshiva, and by the way, that's every single boy in this yeshiva. You stayed here, why? Not because it's more fun over here. You stayed here for one purpose. Because this is where you're going to steig. This is where you're going to accomplish the goal that you set out to accomplish when you came to Eretz Yisrael, when you came to this yeshiva. That is the most incredible thing, and that is the greatest shmirah that you have. You stayed here, you stayed in yeshiva, you stayed to steig. I honestly believe that is the greatest shmirah that you can possibly have in the world, is staying to steig. And just like the world is right now, sending packages to the soldiers, whether it's food, whether it's supplies, and it's a beautiful thing, and they should continue to do so. Here in yeshiva, we're waiting for our packages. We're waiting for the packages that Klal Yisrael from around the world are going to send to the soldiers in the Beis Medrash here in Eretz Yisrael, in Yerushalayim, who did not leave, who stayed here to steig. We're also doing our ishtadlus on the front of the part of learning, of davening, and being mechazik ourselves in Yerushalayim and Yiddishkeit in general. We're waiting for our packages, because we deserve no less, if not more, than what they're getting. We're waiting for our packages. Are we really making a difference? Is what we're doing actually accomplishing something? So we've all seen the videos, we've seen some of my own Talmidim, myself as well, that sent to the guys, that it's, and he said this clearly, without your Tehillim, without your Torah, we would lose this war. That's what the soldier said. He understood, and we understand, that no, we cannot go out to the front lines to fight, but what we're doing here in the Beis Medrash is accomplishing the same thing, if not more. The Shmir is through Torah, Gemara, and Makkos Daf Yud. Rabbi said what we're doing is the greatest thing in the world. And every small thing that we do makes all the difference. And we have no idea what we do can affect somebody else. When you steig in the Beis Medrash, when you show up to Shachris, when you machazik yourself in a bracha and birchas hamazon, whatever it may be, somebody else sees that and says, I'm going to do the same thing. And you machazik him, if you machazik him, who knows if you machazik other people? Who knows where that could lead? I gave a simple shir here in the Beis Medrash, Motzei Yom Tov. As you remember, you were here. Spoke a little bit about the matzav, about what we could do, about what the soldiers want us to do. I cannot tell you the responses that I got from people around the world, telling me, whether it's someone who's in an office somewhere in Chutz La'aretz told me that there's a guy in the office who's not even religious, he hasn't put on tefillin, he decided after hearing, he got a clip, I'm putting on tefillin for the very first time. Somebody in the yeshiva told me that their brother, who hasn't put on tefillin for years, heard the clip. He's putting on tefillin for the very first time. A girl told me that she was doing something that she shouldn't be doing. I'm just stopping right now. I'm being machazik myself. We don't realize the small things that we do that can accomplish so much. And it can have a ripple effect, not only to here in Eretz Yisrael, but around the world as well. And that's something that we have to realize. Every single thing we do, whatever we machazik ourselves in, can have a huge effect, lemaisa, practically, physically, on what's going on over there in the south, in the north, around Eretz Yisrael, wherever we are, and of course including where we are here. I spoke last night to one of the biggest trauma experts here in Eretz Yisrael. The fact that she picked up the phone to me was a chiddush. She's running around all over the country, dealing with some of the greatest traumas, some of the greatest problems. And she told me, amongst many, many things that we discussed, she told me one story. So I want to share with you a story. She knows personally who it happened to. She said there was a boy, originally from Kiryat Sefer. Unfortunately, no longer religious, he bought tickets to go to the music festival on Shabbos and Simchas Torah and Shmini Atzeres. He had tickets to go, him and another 18 friends. 19, a group of 19, they bought tickets together, they were going to set up shop together over there. It was ready for an exciting time. His mother called him from Kiryat Sefer right before Shabbos. Not mamish, right before, a few hours. She said, listen, I can't do this. I cannot go into Shabbos and Simchas Torah knowing that that's where you're going to be. Do me a favor. This is nothing to do with religion. This is nothing to do with Yiddishkeit. I'm not involved in Yiddishkeit, and this is not a discussion of Hashem. This is not a discussion of Yiddishkeit. But just do it for me. If you love your mother, please come home. He wasn't sure what to do. He decided, I'm coming home. I love my mother. She does everything for me. She means the world to me. I'm coming home. He left his 18 friends, and he went back to Kiryat Sefer, and he spent Shabbos over there. He was completely drugged out. He spent 2 days in bed. When he woke up and they told him the news that his other 18 friends, every single one of them was slaughtered, not a single one left, he couldn't comprehend the news. He couldn't comprehend it. She told me that till today, right now, he's walking around with the bracelet that you get, the entry bracelet that you get, walking around saying, this is because, this is what the boy said, this is because I did the right thing. And he understood that doing the right thing saves lives. Rabbi Isai, every single one of us is doing the right thing. We're in Eretz Yisrael, we're in a yeshiva, we're steiging. Let's be machazek ourselves, and I'll end with this. In the Yom Kippur War, just 50 years ago, when the Meir Yeshiva was under attack amongst many places here in Yerushalayim, there was an air raid siren. The whole Meir Yeshiva went into the shelter. It was very, very dangerous. They had to go in. They were mamish being hit from all sides. And Reb Chaim Shmulevitz went in together with the boys. And they were in there and they were hearing explosions and shaking. It was gefährlich bad. Each one was to their own. Each one was saying his Tehillim or his Black Gemara, whatever he was doing. Each one was oisik in his avodah. There was a huge explosion. And they realized what it was. It was literally very close to the Meir Yeshiva. The Meir Yeshiva was saved. You can imagine the simcha. They came back into the Beis Medrash when everything was clear. And they came in with simcha that the Meir Yeshiva was saved. The Meir Yeshiva was saved. It was gewaldig. Reb Chaim Shmulevitz got up to the bima, clapped on the bima and said, Rabbi Isai, everybody thinks that the Meir Yeshiva was saved. Why? Because of my Tehillim, because of my davening, which could be. And avada, everyone's Tehillim and everyone's davening was mitzarif, no shaila. But Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, I want to tell you my pshat why the Meir Yeshiva was saved. And perhaps this is a message for us and what we could do at these times. Reb Chaim Shmulevitz said that he was standing next to a woman that was in Aguna for many, many years. And Aguna is someone that her husband, Rahman al-Islam, didn't give her a get, which means she had no ability to get remarried. And she's stuck in that limbo state for years and years. The pain, the tsar of not being able to move on in life, of being stuck, is horrible. It's horrible. And Reb Chaim Shmulevitz said, I heard her. And you know what she said? She said, I'm willing to be mavata on all the pain that I've gone through, on all the tsar that I've been through. Just save the Meir Yeshiva, save the Bachrim over here. So Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, that's what saved the Meir Yeshiva. What saved the Meir Yeshiva is a Yid, is someone that's able to go on and do something extra. That's difficult, that's not easy. That saved them, Rabbi Isai. Every single one of us can think, Leid Yodea Moras Nafsha, we all know where we're holding, we know what we could do. A little bit of effort in Shmiras Einayim, a little bit of effort in Kavonis and Brachas, in Negavasar and Tzitzis and Tfilin, being careful what we say to others, be careful what comes out of our mouths, be careful what we look at, be careful what we hear. That can change the world, that can have effects to people's lives. Rabbi Isai, we're fighting the war right here, within ourselves, inside every single one of us. In our avodas Hashem, we are fighting the war. And be'ezus Hashem, we daven for Mashiach, we daven for the Beis HaMikdash, we daven for the Gila Shechina, and we should taka daven for the Gila Shechina, and for the Beis HaMikdash, and for Mashiach. Klal Yisrael needs Yeshua. Rabbi Isai, think, what can we do for Klal Yisrael from our own Daled Amos? And be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach, the Rabbi Nishom will give all of Klal Yisrael Yeshuas in the world.